You see this locket? It's empty now. I sold the picture that was inside it last winter, just to buy a warm meal, but I can still see his face, clear as day when I close my eyes. Frank, my Frank. We met back when diners still had jukeboxes, and soda cost a nickel. He walked into my daddy's general store with holes in his shoes and big dreams in his pocket, said he was going to build something that mattered, and he did. We did. The final chapter. That's what we called our little bookstore. It started as one tiny storefront, with peeling paint and more dreams than books. But Frank, he had a way with people. He'd remember every customer's favorite book, every child's story time smile. And me, I handled the numbers. Between the two of us, we built something beautiful. 32 stores across the Midwest. Reading nooks with warm little lamps, coffee that smelled like heaven, and stories everywhere you looked. Every Friday night, even when we could afford fancy restaurants, we'd still spread a checkered blanket right in the history aisle and have our picnic. Frank would always bring daisies. He said roses were too fancy for his girl from Kansas. We'd talk about our kids, our dreams, which store needed new carpets, ordinary things. But they were our things. Our 40th anniversary. We were dancing in our kitchen to Fly Me to the Moon. He had just twirled me, his hand warm on the small of my back. Then he stopped. His eyes went wide, confused. "Ellie," he whispered, "I don't feel right." He collapsed right there, on the checkerboard floor we'd installed together. In the hospital, they let me hold his hand. It was still warm from our dance. His breathing was ragged, but he looked right at me. "The kids," he whispered, each word a struggle. "Trust the kids. They'll take care of you." Then that awful flat line filled the room. They said it was a massive heart attack. But I know. My heart broke right along with his. Grief feels like drowning. You can't breathe, you can't think, you just exist. That's when Michael started coming by. My golden boy. He'd sit at the edge of my bed and say softly, "Let me help you, Mom. Just sign these papers. It's only so I can pay the bills while you heal." The first one was the power of attorney. My hand shook so bad I could barely hold the pen, but Frank's voice echoed in my mind. "Trust the kids." So I signed. That signature was the first crack in the dam. Small, invisible, but it let the water in. Then Sarah started visiting, always with her husband David, always with more papers, always with reasons. "We need to sell the Columbus store, Mother. It's underperforming the Columbus store," where Frank taught Michael to read. "The Chicago location has to go." That was the store where Sarah had her first job. They were carving up our life, piece by piece, and calling it business. Then they moved me out of our home. "It's too much for you, Mom," they said. "The taxes alone." They put me in a white box of a condo. No memories, no Frank, no laughter, just silence. The final papers came on a Tuesday. David placed them right on my kitchen counter, the same counter where Frank and I used to dance. "It's just restructuring," he said, not meeting my eyes, "to protect what's left." Frank would have wanted this. When he said Frank's name, something in me shattered. But I was so tired, so alone, so I signed. Page after page after page. I signed away our life's work, our love story, everything Frank and I built with our hands and hearts. 1 month later, the eviction notice came. I was being kicked out of a home I didn't even own anymore. When I went to Sarah's house, a mansion built from the same money Frank earned with sweat and dreams, she wouldn't even come to the door. David stood there instead. "It's done, Eleanor," he said coldly. "The papers you signed made it all legal. please, don't make a scene." Then he closed the door, and the click of that lock was the sound of my world ending. Now I sit here on this park bench. People walk by and just see another homeless woman. They don't see the woman who built an empire with the man she loved. They don't see the mother who read bedtime stories to the very children who would destroy her. The real tragedy isn't the money. Money's just paper. The tragedy is they didn't just take my wealth, they took my story with Frank. They burned the final chapters of our love story and called it business. You look at me and you see an old woman with a shopping cart, but I'm more than that. I'm a warning, a living reminder that sometimes the people who know your heart best know exactly how to break it. So when you go home tonight, you hug your family, you tell them you love them, but you remember my face. And you remember that trust is the most expensive thing you'll ever own.